What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. Better late than never. This is Cherish today, season 1, episode 5. So, child, we pick up where we left off the next day. Sunday and her dad are out fishing. And, listen, I'm going to just be honest with y'all and tell y'all we get it. We get it. Her dad is losing it. Her dad is probably dealing with some level of dementia, Alzheimer's. They're out fishing. One minute they're having a perfectly great conversation. He's remembering the first time he took her fishing and the type of fish she caught and all of this great information. And then like 2 seconds later, he looks at her and he's like, "Who taught you how to fish?" And he has this now I thought he was joking when he said it, but she took it as him really, once again, forgetting and being very forgetful. And, again, she's got that look on her face like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. And I'm just like, we get it. Like, I don't know if you're in denial. I don't know if you haven't understood the full scope of it. But clearly your father, whatever title we're going to put on it, has some sort of diminished capacity, right? Later on in the episode, we see where he gets rid of another caretaker. And she's like, "Dad, look, somebody's going to have to come in here and help us. Like, I can't do it. I don't even live here anymore. And our cousin, she can't do it." So, he said, "Listen, ain't nobody coming in this house unless you, like, nobody's coming in this house. Like, I don't know what you're talking about." And she's like, "Dad, you cannot keep running people off. Like, I don't know what your end goal is." But he ain't trying to hear it. And again, we see a couple of other examples throughout this episode of him being forgetful and getting defensive when he realizes that he's being forgetful, right? So while they're eating breakfast, his second breakfast or lunch of the day, because he forgot he had already eaten, the phone rings because we see old boy trying to get in touch with her and she's not answering her phone. And of course he thinks that maybe she's avoiding him because of what happened at his house the other night with his wife, well, ex-wife, wife, because they ain't divorced yet. So he calls the landline and he was like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe I remembered the number. Like, I can't remember." And she was like, "Yeah, I can't believe we actually still have a landline." Now I can definitely understand because my parents got the same phone number that they had when I was a kid. Child, anybody that knew me when I was a child and still remember my parents' phone number, they could find me if they wanted to. And my grandmother had the same phone number until she passed away. Well, until we moved, she had to move into an assisted living facility. She had the same phone number, since we were kids. So, well, really since they were kids. So he says, "Hey, I thought you were avoiding me." She was like, "No, I just been with my dad all day." And he was like, "Well, meet me at the bridge." So we find out that the bridge is their special place, right? So she comes and he was like, "Wow, I didn't think you were going to come." And she was like, "Why? Like, you think I would leave you hanging? Like, I told you I was going to come." So, he apologizes for what happened. And he said, "Listen, it's not going to happen again." He was like, "Because I took her key." And I think he really thought he was doing something. And she has this very disappointed look on her face. And I get what the disappointment was. I immediately understood. She's not disappointed. Like, she's grateful that you asked for the key back. But where she's disappointed is you didn't say, "I had a conversation with her and I explained to her that this is not acceptable. This is," he didn't say any of that. He said, "Oh, I took the key back." So in my mind, that doesn't fix the problem of her feeling like she has access to you 24/7. That doesn't, just because you took the key don't mean she won't just show up and knock on the door randomly or call you 20 times because she trying. Like, tell me you talk to her and you explain to her the new parameters of y'all's relationship. That is what I would have liked. But okay. So then he says, "Listen, I want you to meet my kids." He was like, I want to invite you to family dinner. Me and my kids, we have dinner together. And, my ex-wife is there. Well, my wife and her man is there. And we just, we get together, we eat dinner, we play games and everything. And so she was like, "I would love to." Like, she was really happy that he invited her and really excited or whatever. I find it very interesting that you are this cool. I'm talking about the dude. You're this cool with the man that broke up your marriage. Like, I don't know. I'm all about co-parenting and I'm all about being adults around the kids and all of that. But I don't know if we breaking bread. Like, I don't know if I'm that evolved, but okay then. So we see this great moment of them hanging out in the park. I mean, like, wherever they were where the bridge is, you know, they being all cutesy and lovey-dovey and smooching and stuff. And then they go shopping there, look at like they're like some sort of like farmer's market or what have you. And she's buying gifts for his daughters. And he's like, you don't have to do that, you don't have to do that. And I'm gonna be honest, I was like, this ain't gonna end the way you wanted to end, girl. Like, there is such thing as coming on too strong. Like she was like, well, I wouldn't dare show up empty handed. You know, my mother taught me better than that. I can respect you showing up for dinner with, because she had wine, she had flowers, and then she had the gifts for the girls. I'm here for the wine and the flowers. Maybe the second time around, maybe when it's a more intimate setting, when it's just the four of y'all. But I don't know if I would have, I mean, it was a cute gesture. Like, she got some graphic novels for the youngest daughter. And then the other daughter, he said she's kind of into baking, so she bought like a little basket, and she bought like these little like cupcake tins, and she was like, she made like a baking kit for her, like a starter kit, like all the things you need to make some, I was gonna say pancakes, to make muffins. And again, these were cute ideas in theory. And I'm not even saying that she shouldn't have gotten them gifts at some point. I just think for the first time, it's a lot going on. You got the wife, the husband, the boyfriend, the children. I just think, that's just me though. But listen, who am I, child? Who am I? So we see her getting ready. We see Sunday getting dressed and getting ready. She's got a beautiful sundress on. She looks really nice. And her cousin goes to talk to her and say, girl, are you sure about this? Like, you about to take on a lot. You about to bite off a lot. This man is still married. He's got a lot going on. Like, are you ready for this? And she was like, yes, like, I really care about him. He really cares about me. And yes, I know, I know what I'm stepping into. Like, I understand this, and I'm ready for it. And I'm open to it. And so she was like, okay, because I just don't want to see you getting hurt. I just don't want to see you getting into something, that you not understanding fully, walking in the door with your eyes wide open. So we see, oh boy, we see him with his daughter, and they're doing like, look like they're doing some sort of meditation, Tai Chi type situation. And, they're laughing and having a good time or whatever. And you see him with his daughter, and then she shows up, and immediately, like, the boyfriend opens up the door, the ex-wife's boyfriend, he opens up the door, and he's like, oh, you got the wrong house. And she's like, what? And he was like, nah, I'm just joking. So, he sort of cuts the tension. And then Annalise, she's, hey, welcome, thank you for the flowers kind of thing. The youngest daughter is happy to see her, and she, but it's the oldest daughter ain't here for it. Like, she immediately puts her headphones on. She's immediately in brat mode, right? And again, she's just not here for it. She's a daddy's girl, and she don't like this woman coming in, taking her daddy away from her. Like, she sees her as a threat and as competition. Now what I do like is that she didn't walk in the door and just give out the gifts, right? She gave the wine, to the hostess. She gave the flowers to the whole, she took care of like the house, but she didn't just come on like, here's a gift for the baby, here's a gift, right? So then we see them cooking together, all four of them, and all four of the adults in the kitchen cooking together, and they being all, the two couples are being all cutesy. And I'm a little interested, because I'm like, the wife kept looking over at him, right? And I'm like, now, is she looking over at him with a little bit of jealousy? Or is she looking over at him like, I'm happy to see that he's happy? I ain't figured her out yet. I still think that all that we see on the surface ain't what she really got bubbling underneath. But I'm a hold on to that. I'm a hold on to it. So then we see the youngest daughter was like, you want to see my room? And she was like, yeah. So they go to the room, and she's got a dollhouse, and so they kind of talking about the dollhouse, and she's saying how her dad got her a dollhouse when she was a kid, and how beautiful her dollhouse is. And then they start talking about their names and what their name means, and she's like, she's like, are you named after the Greek god? And she was like, no, I'm named after the Egyptian gods. And so then the little girl, whose name is Bree, but I think her real name is like is it Abigail or something like that? Anyway, she looks up her name and she is not impressed with what she finds. She was like, and so Sunday tells her, she said, you know what? When I was a kid, people used to always ask me what my name meant. And, you know, I just told them, I just got to the point where I made up my own meaning. Like, your name doesn't define you. You bring meaning to your name. And so, you know, you don't have to go by that definition that you Googled. Like, that's not who you are. Something like watery cheese or something like that she found. So she was like, you don't have to go with that. Like, you don't have to claim that. So, we see Sunday and Annalise. I say Anastasia, child. Annalise. We see the two of them come together to talk. And she apologized. She said, listen, I'm sorry. You know, I didn't think nothing of it, and it won't happen again. And Sunday, you know, she's like, so we good? Sunday was like, yeah, we good. You know, so they had a glass of wine together, and they sort of cheers, and they realized, okay, we kind of like each other. Again, I got my side eye. I ain't too sure about it, but okay. I think she trying, but I don't know if she all the way there. Once again, we see Sunday try to have a conversation with the oldest daughter. She ain't, I think her name is Ebony. I don't know. But she's still not here. She's just not here for it. Like, she's just not warming up to Sunday. She gets her dad to go outside and play basketball with her. And they're playing basketball. And then the youngest daughter comes out. And they're having a good time. And they got the secret handshake and all of that. And then Sunday comes out. And immediately the girl's attitude changes when she sees Sunday. And Sunday was like, oh, you got to let me in on that. Now, Sunday. Now, I'm here for that Sunday. You ain't had no business trying to get in on a secret handshake. That is clearly something that the three of them got going on. You know, if they want, that's something that they will let you know that you know, be a part of. Now, I'll give credit. He did ask, should I teach her the handshake? And the youngest daughter was like, yeah. The oldest daughter ain't say nothing. He should have took the clue and said, I don't know, Sunday. We not, you know, this a daddy-daughter thing. And Sunday would have understood. I mean, in the moment, she might have been a little like, damn. But, you know, read the room. Like, the girl is clearly not here for none of this. Read the room. I just think that was a bit much. So they get ready to sit down and have dinner. And the doorbell rings. And who's at the door? The oldest daughter's little boyfriend. Now, she didn't call him to come over to the house. And immediately, Daddy is upset. He's like, yo, you know the rules. Like, you're supposed to ask for permission before you invite company over. And she was like, he said, you know that this is just for family. She was like, wait, what's she doing here? She was like, yeah, I got friends. I want friends. I was like, see, this is where, again, I understand that y'all trying to give her some time to figure some things out. But this is where things get to be a little much, okay? So they sit down to eat, and again, the youngest girl is eating it up. She's 11 Sunday, and she's like, I wanted to sit next to you, and she said grace, and she is just having the time of her life. So that's when Sunday decides that she's going to give out these gifts. Again, I don't think giving the gifts out at the table in front of everybody was the best decision, but who am I? So the daughter is still acting funky, like she don't want to eat nothing that Sunday made, and you know what I'm saying? Just again, very passive aggressive, but very much I'm letting you know where I stand on it. So she gives them the gifts, and the youngest daughter, of course, loves it, and she's here for it. The oldest daughter was like, thank you. Like, attitude. So then she was like, well, can I be excused from the table? And her mama was like, okay, well, you know you got kitchen duty. She was like, I know. So she's in the kitchen, and her little boyfriend is telling her, listen, lay off. Like, why are you being such a brat? And she was like, cuz I don't want her here. And he was like, okay, but like, at least try to get to know her. Like, she's here. Like, what are you doing? And she ends up throwing the gift in the trash just as Sunday walks in the kitchen to see it. So then old boy walks in right behind her, and he sees the gift in the trash, and he's like, pick that gift up out of the trash now. And of course she doesn't. She runs out the room. So Sunday leaves. She's sitting on the porch, and he comes out, and he was like, listen. Well, the boyfriend was like, tell her about, you know, what happened. Tell her about my experience. Like, tell her how she hazed me. So he ends up going out to talk to Sunday, and they end up going for a walk. And he tells her, he said, listen, she's you know, she's jealous and she's trying to figure out the feelings, and she's trying to make sure that that you're not going to replace me in her life. And we just have to let her know that, you know, my relationship isn't going to affect or change my relationship with her. And she said, listen, he said, listen, she did the same thing to, oh boy, you know, she was, you know, gave him a hard time, but eventually she came around, and we just gonna have to, you know, I'm gonna talk to her. Her mother's, because Annalise was like, I handle this one. So the mama talked to him. You know, he talked to her. He said, listen, you know, it's just gonna take time. Like, she feels like I'm replacing her. So they come back in, and the little girl apologizes, but y'all, she don't mean it. She don't mean it. But then they all sit down and they end up playing charades, and that's how the episode ends. So, you know, look, I think it's a good episode, and I think this is a reality. Whenever you're dating somebody and you're coming into a blended family, especially a family where things have not healed, things have not been resolved. Like, they're still not legally married, but the mama is living with a whole nother man who just coincidentally is the reason why they not, well, not the reason, but they had mama had an affair, which the kids probably don't know that, but I'm just saying it's a lot. And the daughter, oh, that's the other thing. The daughter got mad because she realized that the reason why her daddy missed her game is because he went to the awards dinner for Sunday, which of course made it even worse. So yeah, I mean, I definitely can understand the frustration that baby girl is dealing with, but at the end of the day, girl, you got to come around, because even if it ain't Sunday, one day it's gonna be somebody else. Okay. Anyway, that was the episode. Let me know what y'all think. Talk to y'all later. Peace.